Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. Happy Monday, everybody. Hey, we got some Mavs ball to talk about. Nice bounce-back win over the Grizzlies on Saturday night. And let's talk about Mr. Christian Wood, the blazing start it's been for the new Mavs big man. He has been absolutely fantastic through 2 games. And we knew this front court would be better, especially with the addition of Wood, but even with JaVale, just from a rebounding standpoint and some defense as well. I don't think any of us saw this coming, where he would be dropping 25 and 10 on average so far. Now, it's only 2 games, but we talked about what he did in Phoenix and how criminal it was that Jason Kidd benched him midway through the fourth quarter. He scored 16 straight points in that one, 25 and 8 overall. Gets Memphis, backed that up with a 25 and 12 performance in the Mavs home opener. He was absolutely awesome for this basketball team on Saturday and in the opener. Like, he looks like the real deal. What did we talk about all summer? Is this a real difference maker, or is this a good empty stats, bad team guy, right, where someone has to score, and the Rockets were terrible, so he had to be the guy? He's given you a dimension that you've been missing, and that is front court scoring. Here's Christian Wood on his role so far, because obviously he's been coming off the bench, and he says, I'm motivated coming off the bench or starting. Either way, I've said that before. This team trusts me, and their trust is even getting better with me in terms of offensively and defensively. And I would hope so. I mean, when you average 25 and 10 through 2 games, you would think that would give Jason Kidd and this coaching staff even more trust in the Mavs' newest big man. This is the first time Christian Wood has been a part of a winning culture. I think that's why he's checked his ego at the door. He's had a journey. You know, he's played for 7 NBA teams. He finally figured some things out the last few years in the NBA, and now he's getting to do it on a national stage with a team that's expected to contend in Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, Christian Wood looks like the guy who's going to be that Robin this year, that number 2 next to Luka. I mean, look at the path. Philadelphia 76ers in 15-16, the Hornets, Milwaukee, New Orleans, Detroit, Houston. I mean, he's finally with the team. And by the way, he still has something to prove, because the Mavs didn't extend him. He's on a 1-year deal finishing out his last contract here, so he's still having to prove that he belongs. If he keeps playing like this, he's going to get a massive contract next offseason. Here's Tim McMahon talking about Christian Wood. Early 6th Man of the Year candidate Christian Wood's first 2 games. 50 points, 20 rebounds in 49 minutes. He's the first player in franchise history to score at least 25 in his first 2 games in a Dallas uniform. And that's pretty interesting. You would think someone else would just walk into that stat by accident. Never happened before. Christian Wood's done it, though, and he's done it at a very, very high level. Show Seawood some love. Type 35 down in the comments. You know, Kevin Durant ditched 35 a couple years ago because he was waiting for the real 35 to wear that jersey in the NBA, and that is Christian Wood. So type 35 down in the comments below if you're fired up for the newest member of the Dallas Mavericks. Subscribe to the channel, because we are going to be here all season long with the latest Dallas Mavericks news, rumors, game updates, previews, post-game shows, injuries, trade rumors, which we'll get into in a second, and a whole lot more. So subscribe today. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. Hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications to all, and you'll be good to go all season long. You're home for the Dallas Mavericks here on YouTube. Let's get into some trade rumors here. Bleacher Report released an article for every single team, a trade idea that they should be plotting right now to basically bolster their team, or to, you know, sell if you want to be a seller, whatever the case may be per team. Obviously, Dallas is a team that wants to contend this year, and they're looking like a team that can do that, especially if Christian Wood keeps playing well. So here was the trade idea from Bleacher Report for Dallas. Gordon Hayward to the Mavericks for Dwight Powell and Davis Bertāns. And I got to say, and I know Gordon Hayward's had a ton of injuries, but Powell and Bertāns, there's a real chance these guys aren't in the rotation this year. Powell already looks like a guy who's not. Now, we know he'll stay ready, and if there's an injury, he'll be good to go. Bertāns has been banged up. He's a flamethrower type. I don't think he's going to get consistent minutes. He'll kind of be in and out of the rotation, I would think. Gordon Hayward's been hurt a lot, but if he's healthy, I would take him over Powell and Bertāns. Here's Bleacher Report more on this trade idea. He said, Hayward shouldn't be that expensive, especially if the Hornets get off to a slow start this season and want to go to younger options instead. The 32-year-old averaged 16 points, 4.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and shot 39% from three last season, and he would give the Mavs another offensive weapon either in the starting lineup or second unit alongside Christian Wood. Getting off Bertāns' contract would be desirable as well. I'm absolutely in on this. Yes, absolutely yes, 1,000 times over. I didn't think I'd be able to see a trade where I would be cool with taking on Gordon Hayward's contract, but if you could dump Powell and Bertāns to do it, A, you get better, and B, you dump two contracts for one. I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever for this team. You don't need Dwight Powell anymore. Thank you for your service. You've done a lot of good things for this organization, but kind of feels like his time is up. Bertāns, that was just part of getting rid of Porzingis' contract. Had a few moments last year, but I'd be perfectly fine if this ended up being the case. Send these guys out for Gordon Hayward. They are not part of the future here in Dallas. Not saying Gordon Hayward's a long-term piece, but he's a guy that could help this year. He could give you 12 to 15 points on certain nights, 2025, whether it would be off the bench or as a starter. He gives you another wing option as well, which is something we've talked about quite a bit for this basketball team, adding more wing depth, and he can do that. Not going to give you a ton defensively, but he'll give you some of that scoring punch that sometimes this team lacks on the wing. Finney Smith has improved there, but he's mostly just a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. Now, obviously, Gordon Hayward, like I mentioned, does have some injury problems ever since that gruesome injury he had on opening night with the Celtics back in 2017. That was the only game he played that year. Was pretty healthy the next year, only missed 10 games, but last three seasons, 52 games, 44 games, 49 games. So, you bring him in here, you're hoping for, could you get 55, 60 games? That would be pretty solid if that ended up being the case. And, of course, if that ended up being a trade that happened soon and not later on in the season. You look at his remaining contract, it's not bad. This year, it's a wash because you'd be trading Powell and Bertāns. Next year, one more year, then he's a free agent. And you're probably saying, well, I don't want that $30 million next year. Well, Bertāns is under contract through next year for like $19 million. Actually, maybe 2 more years. So, yeah, it's more money than Bertāns because Powell's off your books next year. But you want Bertāns for 2 more years? I would rather take my chances with Gordon Hayward, bring him in here, and if he can be healthy, he can still be a good player in this league. It's not like he's Kemba Walker when he plays. He's just washed. Hayward's still solid. It's just that he's missed some time in recent years. There's a trade kicker as well, but still, I might be willing to roll the dice if you're dumping Powell and Bertāns. Summer of 2024 is really when the Mavs are going to be able to strike in free agency anyways, just based on their books, based on the CBA expected to go up in 24 and in 25. So keep an eye on that as well. But I think this is a trade I would absolutely get behind, and I think he could help you for the next couple of seasons. Would you trade for Hayward? Would you do that trade? Type T for trade, type P for pass. I would do that trade. Let me know what you guys think. Give your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll see you next time here on Mavericks Today.